Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And we go to Zurich now, where we understand that FIFA has issued a criminal complaint over suspected criminal mismanagement in a museum project set up by the governing body's former president, Blatter. Well, this project is a museum project, and we understand that it's supposed to cost FIFA to open about half a million, half a billion Swiss franc, and it's not actually going down well with the FIFA authorities because investigations reveal that normal protocols and ethics with regard to rules of engagement as regards contracts were not actually applied when this contract was signed by the Blatter-led administration. So Blatter is already serving a 6-year ban. It was 8 years reduced to 6 years. So Blatter, is there more to come from this Blatter administration? Like we don't seem to get to hear the last of what happened during his time as FIFA president.
Yeah, it's always like that. So much money being thrown at you. FIFA is a very, very big organization, one of the biggest organizations in the world. So you have so much money, and oftentimes, people trying to play the first one on others. So you see them trying to hide these things. So at the point, we know it will all come out. So at this point in time, I'm not actually surprised. I know that there are more that meets the ordinary eye. So I believe it's just a normal thing that happens with FIFA. But then it's not just right for you to, siphon the money that is meant for a particular that is meant to a particular thing. Then you're using it, you're diverting it. I think it's very, very wrong, and I condemn it.
Yes, indeed. But then this museum is in the name of FIFA, not actually a personal project of Sepp Blatter, but it was just like money appropriated for it. They are asking questions about it. Such huge amount of money, half a billion Swiss francs, could have been channeled into sports development, just like the FIFA president is saying now. What do you make of it?
Yeah, well, if you'd ask me, if not for the situation at hand, I wouldn't even know there's a FIFA museum. A lot of these issues,
it's still undergoing construction. It's not been fully up yet.
Yes, I think when you're surrounded around money, for instance, there's every tendency that you fall into one issue or the other. But at the same time, I feel that it's a situation where we just have to see how it turn out to be, because it's still an investigation.
Yeah, indeed, yes, investigation. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. But why is it that most times when it has to do with FIFA, it's said about fraud all the time? Is it that there's so much money flying around in FIFA?
Of course, there's so much money flying around in FIFA. FIFA is big, FIFA is huge, FIFA has a lot of money, and I feel that's the most reason why there's one or two misappropriation of finance, and actually probably they won't even obviously know what to do with the money at the end of the day, and there's every tendency that they might misappropriate this finance.
Well, it's always like that, and even not even with FIFA, even the continental bodies, CAF too also has its issues. We understand Ahmad was banned recently by FIFA, so it's just about it centers also around financial fraud, and all the rest and stuff. So, in this regard, what's the best way you think we could stem this kind of issue? And maybe another body that should be saddled with the duty of monitoring the finances, just away from the executive committee of FIFA.
I think so. I think they should have a body that's going to be like,
because we don't know what has transpired in this administration until they leave too.
Yeah, so. exactly. So that's the point. So we need to have an independent body that will actually regulate and checkmate the activities of the FIFA executive, because if you give them so much power with the kind of power they have, you might not know what's going on in FIFA until they leave that place. It's only when you have a new executive that's when you get to know, what has actually transpired during that administration. So I think having an independent body to checkmate the activity of FIFA is not actually a bad idea.
Yes, indeed. Well, that we're just mooting it. We just maybe it could be considered. Then this issue of constant financial irregularities and fraud when it comes to FIFA, not just FIFA, like I said, the continental governing bodies too also engulfed in this kind of issues. So we hope that whatever it is, we'll get to the root of the matter. And the idea of a museum is not a bad one in the first place, but then probably things have to be done the right way. We'll take another break, and when we return, we'll have more for you on the Grand Sports Center. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And moving on now, we talk boxing, and we always the last will definitely not be ahead of the proposed encounter or proposed bout between Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. I think every day we have to be talking about. Yesterday we were talking about verbal agreements being made, so which means that the fight is as good as happening, though formal sign of contract has not been done. But the fact that both camps have agreed verbally to make the fight happen is a step in the right direction. And Anthony Joshua is coming out today to say he's not trying to avoid a fight with Tyson Fury. This is coming on the heels of his statement the day he defeated Kubrat Pulev, when he said he's ready to fight anybody, provided anybody that has the belt. Many people felt that he should have called out Tyson Fury categorically. Are you not sure? Are we not? Or are they not just trying to set Anthony Joshua up? But then he has come out to say that he's ready for anybody.
Yeah, I think what they're trying to do is, I see it as a hype. Yeah, I'm seeing it as a hype, because at this point in time, I know Anthony Joshua already has his mind set on fighting Tyson Fury already. He said it the other day that he can even consider, having a pay cut just to fight Anthony Joshua in the UK. It means, he's actually ready to face the young man. So I believe this coming out at this point in time is just them, trying to hype the Anthony Joshua Tyson Fury match.
But as a boxer, heavyweight champion for that matter, is it possible for you to even avoid anybody?
No, it's not possible, because Anthony Joshua is at a stage where when there's a fight at any point in time, he should be confident enough to go ahead for that fight. So given different issues or stories about the fact that he's not ready for the fight or something else, I don't think so. But I feel he's at a point he is at a point in time where if there's any fight that is...
You cannot avoid anybody.
Yes, you cannot.
But then, how really big is this fight? We've had fight down the years, history. We've had the Ali former, which is always a benchmark, 1974 in Zaire. And a lot of big fights over the years. We had the proposed Tyson Holyfield that never held. Yeah. And so many big fights. Why so much is generated? Is it that there's the heavyweight division is depleted of capable opponents? So when we just see two boxers that seem to be very capable, we just jump on the bandwagon to hype it up. Because Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, fine, they are holding the respective heavyweight championship belt, but the hype, is it really worth it?
Yeah, I think so. And part of that is due to the fact that there's not been, the unification of all the belt for a very, very long time. I think at one point it was almost impossible because of the fact that the Klitschko brothers were holding on to it, and they didn't want to fight themselves. So
which means Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury could actually say they don't want to fight themselves. It's within their rights.
It's within their rights at this point in time. But then Tyson Fury actually wants to fight Anthony Joshua, because if not because of anything, just to
Prove
buy that belt, prove that point. And at this point in time, I don't think we have shortage of opponents or credible opponents, because if you look at the time that we are now, you see great boxers. There's never a time where we have more than 3 dominant boxers at a point. But if you look at what we have now, the likes of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, Pulev, you see, people who are, competitive in nature. So I believe the match is actually, worth the hype, if you ask me.
And again, these are two British boxers. I'm tempted to ask this question: what are the British doing right in boxing? Because they've dominated in boxing in recent times. They've been dominating. Even some of the title contenders to Joshua and Fury's belt are from Britain as well. But we could remember at a point in time when, during the time of Muhammad Ali, when the best UK could offer was Eric Cooper, who was a British champion then. Very fine boxer, a southpaw for that matter. But Ali went to London and beat him. He has this reputation of bleeding. They said he has his skin, the nature of his skin. When he takes punch, he starts bleeding from it. He easily gets caught. But even if he bleeds, he doesn't lose most fights. He still wins. So he was a very good boxer. But then that was the level of the British heavyweight at that time. Then they had a Frank Bruno that came from nowhere, that Tyson beat. Then they've had also some other good boxers also down the line. But then this time around, they seem to be dominating, because not just Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury. Others are also there as contenders for their title as well, from Britain as well. What are they actually doing well this time around that maybe others could really from?
Well, I think the UK, like you said, obviously have a lot to borrow from, especially the boxing aspect, because there's a lot of benefits when it comes to boxing, and there's for the fans especially, and for the monetary aspect, there's a lot of financial gain in it, and the fact that these are undisputed champions, and they are competitors, they are contenders anywhere. So there's every tendency that it will broaden this there's this tendency of promotion all over the world. So
yeah, they're going to be taking over from the Americans. I'm talking about the heavyweight division now.
Yeah.
Because one of the top contender in America is Deontay Wilder, has been beaten by Tyson Fury. He's fighting for an opportunity for third time. And in recent past, it was Americans dominating. I'm sorry I'm going this lane, but I'm just inquisitive, because I'm tempted to actually see that the British, they must have done something to make them be at this level.
Yeah.
So maybe some people can learn from it.
Yeah, I think we can all learn from it. But one thing about the heavyweight division is that division where you cannot dominate for long. At that point, when you are up there, you see people who are ready to fight you. It's not like the other division where you see somebody somebody that is dominating, somebody like Mayweather, for example. He dominated and he left the scene undefeated. But in the heavyweight division, it's not like that. So at one point, you see somebody up there, and you see the rest who are down, trying to reach. We have a Nigerian, Anthony Ajagba, who is also coming, and he's looking at the top guys. He wants to fight them. So that's what makes the heavyweight division.
He's representing Britain.
He's representing
heavyweights.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. so they have. I said it's not just about Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua.
Yeah,
they have other contenders. So it shows that in the next couple of years, it's still going to be Britain will still be I think very, very relevant in terms of contending for. If it's not a Britain that is the heavyweight champion, definitely they are there among the top.
Yeah, I think it's
and that you cannot talk for the Americans now.
Right now,
because we are rather than having, because the top contenders, Alexander Usyk, who is even batting to fight Anthony Joshua, is not even American.
Yeah.
So you can't actually down the line. You see the first three in each of the different boxing promotions. You can hardly get apart from Jota Wider.
I think it's down to interest now. Before in America, interest used to be on boxing and all these mixed martial arts. Well, at this point in time, I think they are beginning to drift away a little. To the NBA, the basketball, the NFL.
No, don't you think? I guess probably the advent of the mixed martial art could it be affecting boxing? Mixed martial art is now big business in the US, and so WFC and the
WWE.
And do you think that it could have also been affected? It could have affected the interest in boxing, because most people that do mixed martial arts have a background in boxing. So rather than okay now go all the length in boxing, why don't you do mixed martial arts? Maybe there's more money in mixed martial arts. What do you think? Could it be a reason why we don't have the American interest? Let me use the word has died down a bit, because I say interest has died down not because of any statistical evidence, but because I can't seem to see most Americans on the top bill as contenders for the various world titles. That's what I'm saying. Interest has died down. So the fact that there's an alternative in mixed martial arts also be a factor.
Yes, I think the mixed martial arts is also always taking center stage compared to boxing, because that is what, like you said, everyone is actually going into. I think obviously when a particular event takes center stage, there's every tendency that they'll move from this particular sport to this particular sport. I know there are obviously American contenders, but at the same time they probably will want to concentrate more on what's on vogue compared to boxing.
Yes, we can talk about all this, and we can just sit in the studio and say about all these things, but everything has to do with interest, and it could just be that for now the interest in America, or the focus is not on boxing, because we used to know that in the past, especially in times of Muhammad Ali in the 60s, we had boxing gyms, we had boxing schools. The interest was in boxing. The interest was in producing world champions. Maybe the Americans are tired of producing world champions. So let's concentrate on something else. While the British took it up, and they are really doing well, I must say, because like we said, Joshua, as a Fury, two heavyweight world champion of the world, and even down the line, so many others coming up, and also just mentioned the Nigerian-born Anthony Jaguar. So let's keep our fingers crossed. We'll continue to talk about this. We also hope that Nigeria too will join the League of Nations, where we say, fine, boxing is taking over as well. Because we know that we have a talent, not just in football, but in all other sports. We'll take a short break again, and when we return, we shall be talking about the Olympics, some developments concerning the postponed 2020 Olympics. What is happening? Most people in Japan say they want it to hold. Others are saying because of the spike in coronavirus pandemic, they don't want it to hold. And also, we understand that some fans are actually asking for a ticket refund. So we shall be talking about all this when we return from the short break. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. And from Tokyo, we hear that a new creative director has been picked to redesign the opening and closing ceremonies. Why was this necessary? Because it's no longer going to be as flamboyant as they expect it to be. It was postponed because of the COVID-19. There's still this talk about whether to allow fans or not, or whether to allow minimum number of fans. So the issue of the closing ceremony being elaborate is no longer possible. So they want somebody to do something that will be a bit abridged, but also very presentable. We understand that the person picked actually was the one that did the montage for the handing over ceremony from Rio to Tokyo as host city. So he has a hand on this kind of issue. So, but then the Olympic Games preparation is still going on. despite some people in some quarters not still too down with the fact that it's holding at all, even the spike in coronavirus pandemic. And again, the organizers are doing the right thing by going ahead with preparation.
Yeah, I think they've already fixed the date, and a lot has gone into this the preparation for this Olympic. At this point, I don't think they want to back out. So you cannot just spend money like that, and just when you are close to it, you back out. So at this point in time, I give kudos to the organizers, for yeah.
Do they really have a choice? Because, like you said, they've already spent money. So if they back out, they'll be the one to lose. But then, is the hosting still going to be for any other reason other than let it just be known that in the year 2020 or 2021, so to speak, when the events was held in Tokyo? Because in terms of reaping financially, recovering some of the money spent financially as would have been expected, I think that is out of the question for now.
Well, a lot of money has been spent, yes, and the fact that they are considering the postponement, I think that should be as a result of what is obviously going on right now, especially with the new the COVID-19. I think I obviously think that, well, they should consider the fact that, like Austin said, there's been a lot of preparations on ground, and the fact that athletes already are even, so to say, at the Olympic Village, or
the various camps in those countries.
Yes, and honestly speaking, I wouldn't have much to say on this, because even the World Cup, the female World Cup, was postponed still as a result of COVID-19.
You're advocating so that it could be postponed as well.
There's every tendency that it can be postponed.
Well, they've already postponed, shifted from 2020 to 2021. And the Olympics, like we know, is a bigger cup of tea than the Women World Cup or any other football you can think of. It's the biggest sports event in the world because it encompasses all the sports you can think of, football and all together. So you can be rest assured that the Olympic will definitely, it's a bigger cup of tea. So postponing it outrightly, just like Austin said, after all the money spent, may not be in the best interest of either the organizers or the fans or the International Olympic Committee, IOC. But then we understand that fans, a majority of fans are actually asking for the game to be postponed again. I don't know whether that's 2022. While others are even asking for outright cancellation. That's in Japan, actually, because fans are requesting for ticket refund. The Olympic Committee says they've received about 200,000 requests for refund of tickets bought for the Paralympics. Austin, is this not a bad sign?
Yeah.
Because as the game gets closer, probably we'll have more requests.
Yeah, but again, it could be, on the other side, maybe a change of mind, perhaps, because of, the latest discovery in, vaccine for coronavirus. So it can go either way, and we just hope it goes well for, the organizers.
And if people are asking for refund, the issue I raised earlier about monetary gains being out of the question for this Olympics is just probably just to host it and let it be on record that it was hosted, because we're really talking about the funfair friends that come to the Olympics, and then fans, even the ones that spend money on tickets, are asking for a refund. So obviously, it's just to have this Olympics and let it get out of the way. What do you think?
Well, like what you were saying, something just came to my mind. Like, if maybe there'll be high time we'll have a visual game, because it's coming to a stage.
Visual Olympics.
Visual Olympics.
Okay. Only the athletes will be there. They will get to watch from homes.
We'll get to watch it from our homes, because there's a new phase of COVID-19 as we speak, and it's going to be a really, we will have to look at the health aspect of it before the financial gains, So I think obviously that is the only thing that I think should concern us more. I know there'll be a lot of financial gains, there'll be a lot of issue when it comes to financial losses. Yes, beg your pardon, financial losses, because if this game is postponed, then a new phase entirely.
Yes,
Unless
indeed.
they try as much as possible, to let the game begin.
Yes, indeed, because let the game begin, just like ground sports, so that things can move on. But then, how will it begin? When you are requesting, you're receiving requests for 200,000 refund for Paralympics and 18% of tickets sold domestically. There has been a request for a refund of 18% of tickets sold domestically. And this is not this talking about domestic sales, and the foreign sales. I expected a refund request. I expected to start coming in. So a whole lot that the Olympic Committee, the Tokyo organizers are grappling with. But we know that they should be able to rise above it and put their house in order to ensure that we have these Olympics next year, so that at least we can move on from it. We'll take another break, and when we return, we shall wrap it up on the program with the good news for Napoli. And not that Osimhen is back from injury. Well, it's good news in the sense that the 3 points that they forfeited, they lost to Juventus for failure to honor a league fixture in October, has been overturned rather, by the Italian Olympic Committee, who are the highest level of sporting justice in Italy. So that match is going to be replayed. So we'll be talking about that when we come back from this break, as we wrap it up on the Grande Sports Center for today. Welcome back to the Grand Sports Center. As we wrap it up on the program today, with Siemens Napoli, they have a cause to smile and be happy. At least they now know that the match against Juventus, they've not forfeited, they've not lost the 3 points to Juventus. Initially, the Italian FA Serie A, they were awarded 3 points to Juventus for that match, which was supposed to be played in October. But the Italian Olympic Committee, like I said earlier, the highest level of sporting justice in Italy, have overturned that decision. So that match will now be played at a later date. They say they are proposing 13th of January thereabouts. But how good a news is this for Napoli and their fans?
I think it's a good one for their fans. They have something to smile. It's actually not a fair judgment on them onto the fact that there was a restriction on them by the authority not to travel. So at that point in time, they had a case and they actually took it up to the Olympic Committee, and then the Olympic Committee did justice to that, and I think is a fair one for.
Yes, a fair one. So, what does it tell you about justice and the way most of our league organizing bodies interpret the rules of the game? Because from a layman's point of view, when there's a restriction and a team fails to honor a match, there's ample reason to understand why they honor, but why they failed to honor the match. They went ahead to award the match to the opponent. From the layman's point of view, this was a case that didn't even need to go to the Italian Olympic Committee for arbitration. So, what does it tell you about the way most of our league organizing bodies interpret rules of the game? Is it that they deliberately try to favor some teams, or what?
I don't think they deliberately try to favor something. I think this is discipline, if you ask me. Because a situation whereby where you didn't honor a match, there's everything that this is what we need, when it comes to footballing rules and regulations. When you are told to honor a match, why not, try as much as possible to do that. You won't give excuses of COVID or injuries or whatever the situation is. But I think when it comes to footballing authorities or footballing rules, I think this this type of lay-down rule should be, you know, should be used and
Well,
worked on.
it's unfortunate that it had to go this length, but then justice has been served, and we hope that both parties, talking about Juventus, Napoli, and of course the Italian Serie A as well, will be happy with the judgment, and the game must go on. This is where we wrap it up on Grand Sports Center for today. It's Christmas season, and we'll be here. We're not going anywhere. We'll be here tomorrow. We'll be here on Christmas Day. We'll be here the day after to serve you, as usual, bumper package of the Grand Sports Center, because what we want to do is to keep you entertained with the latest that's happening in the world of sports all year round, season in, season out. We shall be wrapping up fully now, and thank you for joining us. We always want to thank you. We always look forward to having you join us every day. But this is why we are here. We keep on telling you every day, and join us tomorrow for another interesting edition of the program. I want to thank Austin Arumen for being here.
Thank you for having me.
And Blessing Bassi.
Yes, thank you.
And on behalf, I'm Donald Bababo. On behalf of all of us and the entire production crew, I want to wish you Merry Christmas. We started wishing already, and also have a very nice day ahead.